Hello, everyone. Welcome to Serendipity. To our guests on our YouTube channel, our new YouTube channel, our guests on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm Dr. Nicole Bramwell out of Florida. It is back to summer weather over here.
Good evening, everybody. I am LaVonda Johnson, and I am here in Birmingham, Alabama.
Hey, everyone. I'm Kimberly Shenevert up in Northern Virginia, and y'all know I'll be trying to outdo that sunny Florida. Here, we had that good 70-degree weather, too. But enough about me. Let me introduce our special guest for today. You guys, I'm super excited. She's born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. She's an alum of my alma mater, Lemoyne-on College, where she is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta. She is also a CEO of Modern Distinctive Ladies, also known as MDL Inc. And y'all, she wrote a book. And we're going to talk about all these accolades in this book. Y'all, give it up for Dr. Tavis Wade-Jones, a.k.a. T. Weezy.
That's right, spirit fingers.
That's right.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Yes.
All right.
So let's just get into it. First of all, Memphis, Tennessee. I mean,
38116. Whitehaven is where it's where I'm from, born and raised. Yeah.
My mama's from South Memphis.
Okay.
South Memphis is where the school located. But so okay, MDL.
Okay.
Now, from what I researched, you thought about this in the 7th grade?
7th grade, yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so my best friend, Dr. Prima Atwell, came to us with an idea. And it was pretty much a sisterhood because most of us have been friends. 5 of them have been friends since kindergarten. I came along in the 1st grade, and then Prima came along in the 5th grade. So we did everything together. Our parents rotated, like picked us up, dropped us off, sleepovers. We did everything together. And so when Prima came to us with an idea, we were like excited, especially watching the movie Grease, with the pink ladies and, all of that good stuff. And so we spent a year writing. Actually, look, in the 7th grade, we were writing what did we want it to look like. And so we designed shirts, we designed a crest and our mission, our vision. We did all of those. Things. And so in the 8th grade, we launched it. And so there was a time where they wanted to expand. Right. And I said no. And they were like, why? Why not? And I was like, because girls don't value friendship the way that we do. And if we get outsiders, I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with the drama. I can deal with your guys' drama, but not anybody else's, right? So I was outnumbered 6-1. So that's the reason why MDL is still here. So that's why I fight so hard, and I am totally invested because I want it to be done right. Because when we graduated, there were other girls coming in, and I wanted to make sure that it was right and to instill in them the same morals and values that all of our parents did. And so 34 years later, and this is our anniversary. This is our 34th anniversary. Yay, MDL. And I do not regret it one bit. Now, there are times when I want to, throw in the towel, but as a whole, MDL has been good to me and good to the Memphis community. So,
So let's go back to 7th and 8th grade, where you guys designed everything, had the logo. What exactly is MDL?
So MDL it stands for Modern Distinctive Ladies. So our colors are peach and blue. So we didn't want it to be like Greek colors or anything like that. So we did peach and royal blue. And basically it was a sisterhood. And as I grew, I had a larger vision of what I wanted it to look like. And so I wanted it to inspire, to motivate girls to make healthy decisions, be productive citizens in the community, keep their grades, good, be accepted to at least one college or university, and graduate, and without being a teen mom. So as I got older, the vision and the way that I wanted MDL to be structured, that's what I did. And that's why it's been so successful, right? I mean, to this day.
So I see you also have a side, I guess I wouldn't call it a side, but a part of MDL called Purity Pearls.
It's the sister, yeah.
Okay.
So Purity Pearls, Purity Pearl stands for Purity Evolves a Real Lady. So the difference is between both of them. MDL is not open to the public. It's almost like Chick-fil-A. You got to know somebody to get in, right?
Okay.
But Purity Pearls is open. It's open to the public, and that's it's a year-long program, and it's an abstinence program. And it's basically I teach them what's God's design for their bodies. And so when people automatically think about purity, they automatically go towards sex. But it's so much more than that. It's pure from gossip, pure from purity from overeating, being jealous, those kind of things. So we teach them, all of those good things. I don't have that sex talk with them because that's their parents, but I do teach my parents how to have that talk. We call it the birds and bees with ease, because at this day and time, you have to teach kids, because if you don't, social media and the internet, all of those things will teach them, and then they'll have the wrong idea. So it's better to come from the parents,
Yeah. Do you ever find it a little difficult with that teenage group to be pure from gossip, pure from drama, pure from all those aspects?
Absolutely. I mean, you just think about, you think about a ballet or, a recital, dance recital, right? Versus going to WWE. WWE sells out, right?
Yeah.
People like to go and see a fight. They like to see confrontation and commotion and all of that, where a ballet, where it's grace and it's quiet. So it's not as popular. So that makes me go hard, to not try to sell it, but to really to live it so they can see it through me. So so I mean, it's a tough job, because I mean, you battling social media now. That's that's a war within itself,
Sure.
Yeah, I know that war all too well. My 10-year-old comes to me, 10-year-old daughter comes to me with questions about sexual stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are you watching
or listening to?
Right.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. When they say sex sells, it's true. So it's better, it's better for it to come from you than versus someone else, right? Right. Because it's no holds barred. Even on the radio, it used to be, we would have different things, calling our pocketbook, we would call it pocketbook, but now, they call it wet, Il Nana and juice box, all of those things, so we have to compete with, with the old sayings of pocketbook and your coin purse and those kind of things,
Yeah,
That's true.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
You talked about social media being something that definitely creates a challenge. What do you feel that, or have you experienced rather, that you get pushback actually from the community even though it's something good, have you gotten pushback from parents? Why should my daughter be a part of this? What is that about? Is that just so that she's uppity, or especially when you talk about the purity pearls,
You
have you experienced that?
you are the first person, Doc, to have ever asked me that question. And that is one of the questions that I have been waiting on to be asked. Um, yes, I have gotten some pushback from actually I've touched the lives maybe over 6,000 girls, and
Yeah.
I can vividly remember in my head it's been two parents, and it was basically one because they once a month we would do church services with each other pre-COVID.
Hmm.
And so I had one girl who said, hey, I don't know if I can do the church thing. I don't think this is part of me, or so she withdrew. And then there was one where a parent said that she allows her daughter for her boyfriend to spend a night, and she was going to get her some birth control pills that Monday morning. So she had to withdraw. So not so much of social media, but I think it's pretty much like their male boyfriend, their influences, because
Hmm.
everybody knows, like, I have this tight hold on them. So they know, like, they'll know those T Weezy girls, like, no, you can't mess with them. So, and if a guy kind of gets in their ear and they go, well,
Sure.
no, T Wade, I'm an MDL, I can't do that. And they be like,
Hmm.
forget T Wade or T Weezy, and
Sure.
that kind of thing. So it's more so of not social media, but it's more so of the physical influence that
Hmm.
the guys
Sure.
may have. And so because you're hearing in one ear do right and the other one do wrong. So that's
Right.
which is called peer pressure.
Right.
And so sometimes it can heavily weigh on on a teenager, and so it will drive them crazy if they're not strong. If they don't have that foundation, they will fall victim to it. So two of my
Yeah.
parents had to withdraw their kids because
Wow.
that peer pressure was stronger than my influence.
Wow. So
Great
you talk
question.
about, yeah, you talk about something that we talk about all the time in our mindset calls, our mental toughness,
Hmm.
with our mentor.
Hmm.
And so, you know, all that programming, that buzzing in the ear that
Hmm.
they're getting, that they've been getting, or even hearing their parents or interaction with family members and what have
Hmm.
you, is that like a discussion that you have? Because I noticed that you have goals and objectives, which is another subject that we have discussed with our mentor, because we're
Hmm.
on this track to make sure everybody's writing down their goals. So I was very impressed
Absolutely.
when I saw that on the website. I'm like, ooh, they're written down. So that's
Right.
awesome. And that you actually have goals and
Hmm.
objectives. And
Hmm.
you're teaching that, and that's great. So, you know, how do you have, that discussion? Because you talk about self-esteem and confidence. That's definitely at the top of the list. That's how peer pressure actually wins over, is that there's not enough confidence, self-confidence, and self-esteem. And then how do you teach them about communication, with having strong enough communication and being able to communicate that? Because that's something that goes wrong in the youth a lot, is that they may feel a certain way, but they don't know how to communicate it
Right.
powerfully enough to be able to take a stance.
So peer pressure, to me, it all comes down to self-love, self-awareness. So what
Mhm.
I do is take the girl from where she is, and then I build those
Mhm.
skills on her, because I know, and I use myself as an example. I got pregnant when I was 18, and I had my daughter when I was 19. So I have three older brothers and a father that was living. There's no way, people know your dad is in your life and your older brothers, because my brothers, they were tough. There's no way that really that I should have, you know,
Mhm.
been pregnant. I always say that, not that I regret anything, but I mean, it is what it is. But I take the girl from where she is and I build her up. And from there, I have a foundation, and letting her know that no one can, you know the difference between right and wrong. No one can change your mind about it. If it's something that you strongly feel strong about, nobody can change your mind. So that's where I start, and let them know that they are a rose. When I tell you I build them up, I do. And, you know, not saying that everybody is perfect, but
Right.
having self-esteem, good self-esteem, and self-awareness and self-love, you know, that cuts down at least 50% of my problems. So
Awesome.
that's the difference with Purity Pearls, because I take them at 6. MDL is 14.
Oh, wow.
So if you
Wow.
think about it, right. So if you think about it, my job is tougher with MDL. Just think about
Right.
trying to change someone's life, and they're used to doing what they've been doing at 14.
Mhm.
And so that's how Purity Pearls was birthed, because God said, no, you got to go back and you got to get the smaller ones. You know, you cannot, 14, you're going to run yourself crazy. And that's exactly what I was doing. And so I got them, you know, at age 6. And it is, when I tell you, it's so much easier, because I instill all of those good things. I even have male speakers to come and speak to them as a male point of view. Like, you can do all of those things and twerk and do all of that, but you ain't gonna meet their mama. You ain't coming home to meet mama, you know? And so they be like, what? And I'm like, all of that, and talking about how good it is. It doesn't matter. You know, you have to be okay with yourself. And if you do all of those things, it's still no guarantee, you know, that you're gonna be with the same man that you were in the 9th grade, which they think their world is ending when they're not.
Yes. So true.
Right.
So
You
true.
know? So
So
it gets deep.
That's awesome. That's really, really great. I mean, again, that's a topic that we've discussed. So I think that you actually secretly called Mr. Fleming, and that you were talking to him, and that you're just not telling us. But
he's our mentor, by the way.
So it sounds like you've had secret conversation with him.
Yeah.
About it's
Is
a
it
really
Michael
important
Fleming?
thing.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's really, really important, because you're talking about age 6, where they're still very impressionable, and they will remember and remember how they felt with you, and remember what you're telling them as you do that over and over and build that foundation. So that was really very insightful of you to step back and see about making that, because a lot of times people would say, oh, they're young, you don't talk about those type of things, and what have you. That's exactly when you need to talk to them.
Exactly. And that's how I present it to the parents. Now is the time. You cannot, wait. I tell them, wait broke the bridge. You got to get this stuff out, because if not, you look around and your daughter be on OnlyFans or something, something like that.
With that secret account.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. So I wanted to ask you about something you mentioned in the beginning. You said that when the idea came, the first thing you said was nobody respects friendships and sisterhood the way we do.
Right.
What made you believe that you would find other people that would be able to take on the mindset that you all had so early on in your lives? So that's one of the things that we do run into as women. It is challenging to find like-minded people if you are someone who values friendship, someone that likes to support their friends, and and not try to compete with each other. So how did you know or feel like there was somebody else that you would be able to bring along in your organization as you were growing? Because that was one of your concerns in the beginning, that there would be people that wouldn't have that same mindset.
That's a great question. What we did was talk to like-minded people. So girls who had the same morals and values. If their parents were strict, those were the friends that we wanted to be around, those the ones that we wanted to invite, not the ones who parents let them do what they wanted to do. Pretty much parents who had a stronghold, or not even a stronghold, just played a major part in their and that's like one of the questions, the first question that we ask: what is the role that you have with your mother? And so from that sometimes that'll tell you everything that you need to know. But if a girl says that she didn't, she don't, or whatever the case may be, we don't shy away from them. I dig deeper, because sometimes, not everybody is perfect. Sometimes mothers have issues as well. So I ask them to identify with someone who's positive in their life. So it could be an aunt, it could be a teacher, it could be their first lady, somebody that they see that they want to pattern themselves afterwards. So that's the first thing that we do. And then just like we interview them, and then we sit, as in the 8th and 9th grade, we didn't start until like the 90s to recruit, because we wanted to bond and gel together as not only as best friends, but as an organization. So in the 10th grade is where, and I tell you, I was so mad. I fought it hard, but we sat back and we observed, even as kids, like we was like, we got to see your report card. We don't want no dumb girls in our organization.
Wow.
We were like, I'm telling you, we were like, let me see your report card. We interviewed. I mean, it was like some girls would walk out crying. It would be really intense, like really intense, but it was all professional. But I mean, I took it to heart, because I know what I wanted the organization to look like. And so, not all the time we were right, but I'm pretty much, I have a spirit of discernment, so I can kind of figure you out, like, okay, some ain't gonna be right. Watch what I tell you. And then,
yes, you can. Yes,
when it's time to vote, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this for you, but you just watch it. And then I'd be like, told you,
Yes, she does. I can attest. Yes, she can.
Yes. So yeah, that spirit of discernment. But interview process and just sitting back and watch, because they say, what is it? A tiger, or is it a zebra? A zebra never changes stripes.
Right, a zebra.
A zebra, right. And so the zebra doesn't, it'll come out. What's in you will definitely come out. So,
right.
So
along the way, I can imagine there were a lot of stumbling blocks. What kept you going? Like, what was your why? What kept you motivated on those times where you got frustrated, which I'm sure happened multiple times?
It would be times where I would want to quit. I would be in tears, and I would say to somebody, "This it. I'm tired. I'm throwing in my towel. I cannot do this." And within the same day, not 2 days after, within the same day, I would get an appreciation letter saying, "Thank you for all of the teachings that you have, I've learned from you. I've patterned myself. If you hadn't been in my life, I would have done this, or I wouldn't have done that," those kind of things that would leave me in those ugly tears. And so God would always remind me, this is the reason why I have you doing my work. And it's not going to always be easy, but I need you to be about my Father's business, And so I would suck it up, wipe my tears, and I'd be ready, I'd go back in, But and it happens when, I'm telling you, when I'm ready to throw it in, and then somebody will offer me encouragement, and actually, just that will just keep me going. That's like the fuel. And then sometimes my mom is like one of my biggest cheerleaders, and she'll give me that motherly talk, but then she'll give me that godly wisdom, and say, this is, you have to do it. It's not going to always be easy. And there's no way that I can prepare for the things that come my way, but it's just how I deal with them that, keeps me going.
Right. And
So
along those same lines, how do you teach the girls of how to withstand the peer pressure that they're going to come under? Because they have a system, a group of people that they are a part of with the organization, but going out there in the world, they probably don't go to the same schools as those people. You know, they're going to get on social media, they're going to be at home, and sometimes maybe even somebody within their family might be somebody that don't have the same guidance that you're trying to instill in them. So are there any particular tools or what methods do you teach them to use to have their own kind of independence and mental toughness to withstand the peer pressure that they come up under?
Well, I always go back to, self-love and self-esteem. That goes a long way, believe it or not. And I just keep building them that they're so precious. And, again, nobody can make you do anything that you're not comfortable with, that you're your own person. And I use a lot of times, a lot of personal examples, and that it comes from the heart. And I tell them, like, you got to do it, like you got to remain this way, because if not, this is what happens. And sometimes they will test the waters, and I'm back to, I still give them that coaching talk, and let them know, like, your life is not over, because we serve a God of second, third, fourth, 50 million chances, but don't use all your chances making dumb mistakes, So yeah.
okay. So let's talk about this book. So what made you say, you know what? I love you, MDL, but let me take a second and let me get into my creative spirit to write a book. Let us talk about Never Met a Stranger. What gave you the concept? What ideas? Were you just sitting around gazing one day, just people watching? It's like, ooh, let me write that down.
So it was prophesied to me a long time ago that I was supposed to write a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I was supposed to do it. And so, when you hear that, if it's when I wrote my dissertation, I said, I am not going to read another book. I'm not going to write anything. And I meant that, but, it was prophesied a long time ago. Right. And so then every time I would write something, people would say, oh my gosh, you need a book. You need to write a book. And I go, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Right. So COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything, and I do have to be transparent, everything that I loved, or the things that or the direction that I was headed, and actually it wasn't God's plan. So God took everything away from me in order for me to do what I was supposed to do. So the four walls, and as I was writing, I started on one book, and then I'm like, but me, I'm such a comedian, and I'm just this fun person. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna table this, but what can I put out that will grasp the readers, for people? And I wrote the book for people who don't like to read, like they don't want to read anything, like give me the Cliff Notes version, right? So that's exactly what I did. And I said, what is one thing? Because I am a sucker for reality TV. I'm a sucker for it. I love it. Wow. I won't even say it's a guilty pleasure, but I look like Love and Hip Hop and Real Housewives of Atlanta, all those kind of things, right? And I got to looking at the patterns of relationships, of the different type of men that they were choosing. And then I began to identify with some of them. So I said, you know what? Let me write this book that's not based on my life, but I will insert some pieces of my life into this book and make it fun and make it interesting. So that's what Never Met a Stranger is about. It's about a girl who loses herself. You know, she goes from relationship to relationship thinking that she has to have a man in her life because she, you know, the book starts with her parents. You know, she idolizes her parents' relationship. And so when something happens in that relationship, you know, she's torn. And so in relationships, you know, different relationships, which I figure that women can identify with at least one. So it's 4 major relationships, and you can identify or had a guy in one of those relationships that you can identify. And so you have to read the book to see what brings Alicia Renee, that's the main character, what brings her to her knees, because, you know, she thinks she got it all figured out, and, you know, she can use her body to get what she wants and all of those kind of things. So you have to see what gets the best of her.
Wow.
And
how did you take a turn from that? Because that type of woman is the woman you don't want at MDL, but yet you do want to help that type of woman in MDL, that type of teenager. How did you do, like,
how did I separate the two?
Yeah, separate, but then come full circle at the same time.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So it was, Alicia Renee is all of the things that you don't. So it was clear, you know, it was kind of easy to do the opposite of what I was used to, the opposite of, you know, not a good girl. So I can make her, you know, not a villain, but make her totally opposite of me. So it was easy. And I just got to writing. I'm telling you, it was easy. Wow. Writing about it. But as I was writing, crying and trying to, you know, and then I would laugh because, of course, like I said, I'm a comedian, so I had to put some funny things in there, and you know, and to make people think like, oh my gosh, like what in the world? But I wrote it strictly for people who don't like to read, and I made it just as simple and plain, but that everybody could have something to take away from, a lesson learned. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was easy to separate the two. It was. It was so easy. Everything that I don't teach, I put it in Never Met a Stranger.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. This is probably a little tough question because I see a comment from a doc that I know is a pediatrician, as I am by training, and so Dr. Cheryl mentioned that she has she wanted to voice that she had some. She felt that some of the discussion was disturbing, right? And so I want to think, and I don't know because she didn't elaborate, but
the discussion of what we just got through talking about.
We were not the book, but about when we were talking about your purity pearls and the MDL. So, and for me, like the language of using good and bad. When you talk to the girls, I realize that sometimes we just have conversation and those are the easier words to use. Is that the language that you use with them, or is it different?
What do you, I mean,
like, you know,
like
telling
what a
them
good person.
Right.
Okay. So here's the thing, and I have to be transparent with that.
Oh, absolutely.
Kids know right from wrong. Why are you sugarcoating anything? So you know what's good, you know what's bad. I mean, it's just simple as that. So, you know, warning comes before destruction. So,
but you're talking about the things are good or things are bad and not the person.
Absolutely.
I guess that's what
right.
I think that would be the distinction.
Absolutely. The things. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. All right. I just wanted to bring that forward because I saw her comment.
The kids? No,
Oh no, I wouldn't say that you were doing that.
Okay.
No, I was just
I don't degrade my kids because I mean that's the purpose of me building them up.
Right.
Right.
I have one final question.
Sure.
Either in regards to MDL or writing the book, looking back, is there anything that you would do differently, or do you have any advice for other people who might be interested in doing something similar or writing a book or what have you?
As far as the book is concerned, the only thing that I would do differently is I should have done it sooner, because obedience is better than sacrifice. I should have done it and been obedient. So because I wasted time, and so like I said, God had to take things away from me. So you never want God to take things away, especially some of the things that you love. You know, you don't want that to ever happen. And then a lot of times people cannot, they can't bear the things of the things that happen to me, you know. So I would have done it sooner. But as far as MDL and Purity Pearls were concerned, there's nothing that I wouldn't change anything, because it's life lessons. It's taught me. I grew with MDL. So the things that I've learned, the things that my mission, like I said, my vision, times change. And so I change with the times, although my morals and values are the same, but my delivery is different.
Cool. That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. Yeah, because you guys started so early. I mean, you started as children.
Grade. Yeah.
You were teenagers.
7th grade. Absolutely.
Right. So, yeah, preteen and teenagers. And definitely our minds work differently during that time. Although you say, as you mentioned, your values may be the same, but how you deliver, how you grow. But just having that experience, you started a business basically at a very young age, and you learned from the things that you were doing, what was better to do, what wasn't, was not good to do. So I think that that's tremendous. And that's always something, as we read about different business practices and stuff. Everybody that's successful in business make mistakes. Absolutely. And they have failures, and they learn from their failures or mistakes. They use them as lessons rather than as, I can't go on.
Right.
So that's a really good point. I thank you for bringing that forward.
And then another thing too is that I had to learn that I can't please everyone. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not here to, just like the pediatrician said, it's disturbing. It could be disturbing for her, but I have several thousand parents that will say otherwise, So I'm not here for the, it is what it is. I know the work, the lives that I change. My girls are now are successful lawyers. Own their own business.
Awesome.
And there's one that does my hair. There's an MDL who does my makeup. There's one MDL who does my nails, and
awesome.
Right. So I utilize them, and then the ones that are lawyers, if I ever need them, I'm pretty sure they would be there for me. But I refer them. There are a lot of educators, and I've helped produce so many successful women, and so I don't I'm not a people pleaser. I can't. You can't take everything personal, trying to please everybody. Absolutely. And I'm not. So let her know that.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Let her
know. Real quick. First of all, thank you so much, T. Weezy.
That's right.
For coming on. You have done so much for Memphis.
Thank you.
Memphis in general. I thank God that I got to know you in college.
Yeah, you're such a sweetheart. Always have been. Like my little sister.
She made sure I definitely stayed out of trouble. Let us know where we can get Never Met a Stranger.
So it's on my website. It's Dr. Tavis, Tavis, Wade, Wade, Jones.com. And it's on Amazon as well. So you can get the hardback, or it's the ebook on my site. But Amazon, it's on there, Never Met a Stranger. And I think it's under, you got to put my whole name to find it on Amazon. So it's like Dr. Tavis Alicia Wade-Jones, because sometimes people put just Never Met a Stranger and a lot of things come. But it was some kind of tricky thing that Amazon had me to do. So, but you can find it under there as well.
Awesome. And I'm going to also drop the link in our description box on YouTube. So it'll be right there accessible. So you'll click that link. Make sure you guys get Never Met a Stranger and support Dr. Tavis Wade-Jones. And if you're in the Memphis area, get your girls signed up with MDL and definitely with Purity Pearls.
Absolutely.
Don't wait till your child is 14, 15. You get them on in at 4. Get them in at 4.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Jones.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, you guys. Again, thank you for tuning in to another great show here at Serendipity. We will see you all next week at the same time. Do not forget to go to our YouTube channel. If you're already there, hit that like button, subscribe, notification for when we pop back up on y'all next week. Until then, goodbye, y'all.
Good night. Bye-bye.